All right, guys, welcome back to Neeks Sports. I'm here with Ramon and Kyle, and we are doing our Premier League Team of the Decade. First and foremost, how's everyone doing? Kyle, why are you wearing a Barcelona top? This is the Premier League Team of the Decade.
Oh, but almost every player I'm going to name comes from the La Liga, so.
What? We'll see how that one goes. Ramon, how's it going over there? Your new manager bounce 1-1 draw with away at Burnley.
New life, innit? New life. The glue is now at the Emirates, so he's gonna glue us together, hopefully.
I don't know about that. But
yeah.
Premier League Team of the Decade. The first thing we got to do is decide on the formation. Now,
okay.
I guess I would have got a team in mind. So the formation I'm going to go for is maybe a bit unorthodox. But, there's likes of 4-4-2. That's probably a decade prior to this. 4-4-3, 4-2-3-1. Me personally, based on the team that I've actually selected, I want to go with a diamond 4-1-2-1-2.
Who even plays diamond? Is this 2003?
I mean, nobody does, but based on the players I've selected, that's why I want to go diamond. If we go anything else, I'm gonna start having round pegs and square pegs and round holes and all that nonsense. But it's a democracy, so it's up to you, isn't it, as well?
I ain't got a team at the moment. Well, I did have, but I forgot it. So I'm gonna go. I'm personally gonna opt for 4-3-3. So,
I did have a team, but I'm kind of slightly reshifting it. I'm changing it a tad bit, and just to be fair, I have to go with what over the last decade, what majority of the teams used as a formation. The teams that won. I mean, I know Leicester won it in this decade. They played 4-4-2 when they won it. But I think majority of the teams, it was some sort of a 4-3-3. So I'm gonna go 4-3-3.
You with us, Ramon?
Yeah.
Oh, something had your attention elsewhere. Looking for inspiration.
Sorry.
Your team of the decade. So you say, Ramon? I'm Kyle.
So I'm gonna go with 4-3-3 because I think that is what the majority of the teams would have used this decade.
You think? I would actually say 4-2-3-1. More teams would have used, but I guess 4-3-3.
More championship winning teams.
What are you talking about?
You said what more teams use. Are you talking about more teams that won the Premier League, or just teams in the Premier League in general?
No, teams that won the Premier League.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so I guess it's been a bit of a mix. Man United probably were. Actually, I don't know. Man United were playing 4-4-2 with Van Persie and Rooney just behind. But then after that, Chelsea. It's been a bit of a mixed bag. So we've got anyway.
Then we got Liverpool 2020 4-3-3.
I mean, the end of 2019 and Liverpool still haven't won a Premier League title as we record, as we speak. And I can live with that. So, okay, we'll go 4-3-3. Majority rules. Starting with goalkeeper. Ramon.
For me, this should be an easy one, right?
That means you're gonna go left field. You know.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna go right field. I'm gonna go David De Gea. I think arguably, I was gonna say the best goalkeeper of the decade, but that's what we're doing. So, arguably the best goalkeeper of the decade. Now, I think in the past sort of 10 years, arguably the best goalkeeper in the world. His past sort of 2 years hasn't been the best, but over the course of the 10 years, I mean, yeah, he's won been in 5 team of the years or whatever. Like he's dominated the Premier League goalkeeping stats and clean sheets and mad saves. So has to be De Gea for me.
You know what? In my original team, this is what I'm talking about. I changed it up a bit. In my original team, I had David De Gea, but then I realized that Petr Cech played for Chelsea up until 2015. So in the first half of the decade, and then for his second half of the decade, he played for Arsenal from 2015-16 onwards. And of all the records that he set, okay, albeit he set most of them with Chelsea, but with all the records he set, it has to be Petr Cech. It has to be. Like he's probably got 8 of the last 9 years in the Premier League, and he's been immense. He's been absolutely immense. Yeah, he has.
He definitely ain't been immense at Arsenal.
No, not at Arsenal.
I think
his first year, he was very good at Arsenal. Apart from that,
yeah, and his first couple of years, he was all right. But his years at Chelsea, barring maybe his very last one, when Thibaut was coming onto the scene, those 4 years, you could argue they were as good as David De Gea's 4 or 5 years.
Okay, but at the time, was anyone saying Petr Cech best keeper in the world?
No, because Buffon was unquestionably the greatest goalkeeper.
No, but people were talking about David De Gea and Manuel Neuer, and to an extent, even Thibaut Courtois. To an extent, Cech was not in the argument.
Never.
Now, if we're talking about Premier League of all time, he then becomes in the argument. Even then, I would have him behind Peter Schmeichel. But in the last decade, especially the way that it tailed off at Arsenal, and granted, David De Gea is kind of tailing off at the end of this decade as well. The last year or 18 months even. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ramon. I'm gonna say David De Gea. So yeah, we hold your Petr Cech, but 2-1 David De Gea.
I swear Petr Cech's best years were in the last decade.
The previous decade, yeah.
Yeah.
They were 100%. And I would say even everything before his head injury, which was in 2006-07 season. So yeah.
Said ain't been the same since.
He ain't been the same since. You know, he's been alright, but he ain't been the same since.
You not seen him play hockey?
Yeah, because got even more head protection there. All right, moving to right back. Kyle.
Man, this one halted me for time because I honestly, I was tossing and turning. I couldn't pick, but I'm gonna go with Bakary Sagna.
Say that again. You're gonna go with
Bakary Sagna.
one more time for the people.
Bakary Sagna.
What?
Mm-hmm.
How?
What do you mean how? He's a quality top right back.
So, remind me, when did when did he leave Arsenal?
I think it was 2-3 years into the decade, no more than 2 years into the decade. He went to City. He was at Arsenal for I think 2 years this decade.
And when he went to City, was he not back up to Zabaleta?
I can tell you here.
He started as a main, I think.
He left Arsenal in 2014 and then left City at 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was he not a backup at City?
No. Not in his first season. He wasn't.
Oh, and then they realized it was crap.
Whoa.
Hey, whoa. Hey, whoa. Yeah, even there.
Whoa.
Bakery's all right. Bakery's saying, yeah. I'll go Kyle Walker. In my original team, I actually had Pablo Zabaleta. I just thought about it a bit more. It's like Zabaleta was very crucial for the first couple City Premier Leagues, and they were very important Premier Leagues because obviously they never won it before, and they kind of got them off to kind of start their era of dominance. And the team, it's a team that hadn't won anything. So it was much more difficult, I would say, for them to win that title and maybe even one after than it was for them to win the last two. Because, they've got a bunch of players there who had already won it, going the last couple of seasons, and then a manager like Pep Guardiola. But we talk about that Centurions team as one of the greatest of the Premier League era, not just in the last decade, Premier League era. And Kyle Walker was integral to it. It wasn't just a mere cog in the wheel. I'm not saying Zabaleta was, but it wasn't just a cog in the wheel. He was very, very important. You know, I think it was probably the first £50 million fullback. Then we had that fraud of a left back, Mendy, matching that at 50 million.
Excuse me?
Fraud of a left back. Licking a lip.
You need to watch yourself, mate.
Listen, he needs to watch himself because I don't know how he's got a professional contract at City. But talking about Kyle Walker, yeah, he was integral to that, to one of the greatest Premier League teams we've seen. And I think the pace that he has going forward and at the back is, even though I would say Zabaleta probably at peak defensively was better, I would have to give to Kyle Walker. And the fact that over the course of the decade, I would say he's got better due to age, whereas Zabaleta, due to age, has actually got worse as the decade's gone on. And at the moment, I mean, he's battling with, was it Fredericks to get into the West Ham team. So that says it all. It doesn't mean Zabaleta is not good, but, you know, age comes into it when we're talking of, you know, a 10-year span. So I'll go Kyle Walker.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Kyle Walker ain't really been spoken about. A lot of people have been speaking about him. It's been a lot on the Zabaleta side of things. And yeah, I look back at the last 10 years and I don't really see the Zabaleta argument, to be honest, because yeah, it was parts of Man City's good spell. But again, we're not talking about the best Man City team this decade. We're talking about a side which was good and a side which nabbed the title on the last second of the season. No, we're talking about a good, but then we're talking about as you said, arguably the greatest ever Premier League team. The Centurions, the Formidables, and the Centurions and the Formidables.
You're making that stuff now, man.
And for Spurs, don't forget for Spurs, the reason why he was bought for 50 million was because he was banging for Spurs. He was actually as a right back. He was, even though Spurs fans were very 50-50 on him in terms of his attacking threat, I think Pep actually helped him improve on that. And I think he became even more of an attacking threat when he went to City, playing in as I said, two of the great teams that we've ever seen. So, yeah, for me, it has to be Kyle Walker.
Okay, left back, Ramon.
Can you come up? Can you come to me afterwards? It's hard, man, because I forgot the team that I had, man. Come back.
Kyle.
Well, since we've got one fullback position occupied, I mean, this fullback, I mean, he's versatile. He's played left back, right back, centre back, did it for a number of years at Chelsea, and probably one of the greatest defenders in the Premier League of all time, and has to be on this list. So for me, at left back has to be Azpilicueta.
Yeah,
and none other.
I agree. When he came to Chelsea, he was a right back. I think it was Mourinho played in left back, if I'm correct. And Felipe Luis, so Atletico Madrid, and you know how good Atletico Madrid's defense is. Felipe Luis could not get into the Chelsea team ahead of a right-footed Azpilicueta playing at left back. And then he's gone over to right back, which he's playing this season and he has in the past. And in between all of that, he played at centre back in a free under Conte, and his one titles doing all of that. So, yeah, for me, you know, we rant and rave about, you know, these fullbacks that bomb forward and get assist after assist. I'm not calling no names. It's not about them, but I like a fullback who can defend. And Kyle Walker ain't the greatest defender. So on my other side, I definitely have to have a fullback who can defend. And I think he's, as for the creator, you know, they call him Dave. Who earned his right in this team in a decade. He's still going relatively strong. As it stands, you know, people talking about Reece James, generational talent, this, that. He can't get in the team. Can't get in the team ahead of Azpilicueta. And that says a lot. So, yeah, Azpilicueta for me, left back.
I think left back's a difficult one. I think Azpilicueta, I mean, how many years did Azpilicueta play left back for Chelsea?
I don't know. I can't answer that question. I don't know.
It could have been no more than 3 years, was it?
Because what, he joined Chelsea in 2012. So it's definitely his first. I'm sure when they won the title, 2015. So he definitely played left back then. And
Wasn't he left back the whole time Ivanovic was there?
Mourinho rejoined 13-14. So I think 13-14 and 14-15 definitely. Possibly 15-16. And then 16-17 he was back at he was in the free under Conte. So maybe 3 years. Last year did he play left? No, they were playing Emerson and Alonso.
Yeah. So for me, as much as I rate Azpilicueta as a defender, and obviously I guess the choice has already been decided, and it's down to me just to go rogue because I can. I'm gonna give my shout out a left back spot due to consistent performances over the past 10 years. And as I said, because he was sick in that as a left back, but I'm gonna give it to Danny Rose. I'm going to give it to Danny Rose because over the past 10 years, I think, as I said, I got a rogue choice anyway. He's been consistent for Spurs. He came into the side and I think hadn't really been challenged for a long time, even when Ben Davies came to try and get his spot. And I think during Spurs' best spell, and I'm looking at the left backs over the years, some have come. You got people like Evra at the start of the decade. I think
Ashley Cole, same thing.
Ashley Cole at the start. Baines had his time at left back forever. I think he's probably up there. But I think over the consistency of the past years, and I know it's not necessarily all on consistency because you might have one person that has had 2-3 amazing years. But Azpilicueta years at left back, I wouldn't personally see them as amazing. I think they were good, very good. But I think him as a defender, he's for me, I'll probably more maybe challenge him for the right back slot. But yeah, so for me, I'm gonna go with Danny Rose. But shout out to Danny, innit? He didn't make it.
Centre back. So I want to get your centre back too. I'm going to start. Actually, no. No one will agree with Vincent Kompany.
He's in one of my two. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. We can all agree with Vincent Kompany. I think we don't even really need to. I think he's in everyone's too. Great centre back. And we're seeing how much City are struggling right now without him. So that says it all. Now the other one's so difficult because I don't think there's been one centre back consistent, like top quality from the start of the decade right to the end. Whoever you pick is gonna be, oh, he was only at the start, or he was only at the end, or he only had 2 or 3 years in the middle. That's how when I viewed it anyway. Because the person I picked is Nemanja Vidic, and you think the decade start 2010, so he won the 2010-11 Premier League title, and if I'm correct, in that year that's when we had the most consecutive clean sheets, minutes or games without conceding a goal. I think it was over 11 games. Could have been up to 14. I can't remember now. Obviously, it was him, Rio, Van der Sar as the main kind of three through the middle. So won the league 2011, 2013, won the league again, and which is obviously Fergie's last year, and I think his last year at Man United was actually 2014. So he played the first half of the decade. But for those 5 seasons, for me, he was the best centre back. So I have to give it to Vidic.
Fair play. I mean, he was definitely in my thoughts. Like it was him, Rio Ferdinand, and both of them were both Rio and Vidic played up until 2014 for Man United. For me personally,
Rio went to QPR after, and it just all went. It all went terrible.
Yeah. For me personally, I would have gone with Rio over Nemanja Vidic, but I've gone with neither. I've gone with neither. I'm not gonna lie. I've gone with neither, and I think the main reason why, because it's only 4 years.
It's 10. It's 2010.
Yeah.
2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. So it's actually 5 years. The decade 2019. So
true.
Half of the 10 years.
All right. But I feel like
back in your team? Is he back in?
No. 1 extra year is not enough. I'm gonna. It's so difficult because, like you said, it's either they played at the start, or they played the second half of the decade, or if they did play long enough to get a good solid 6, 7, or 8 years within the decade, they're not good enough. So it is a very tough decision. But I feel that the person that I'm going to pick, I think, played every single year within this decade and has been immense, apart from maybe the last 12 months. Apart from maybe the last 12 months, you could possibly stretch it to 18. But the last 18 months out of, 10 years, and has been stellar for me personally for a number of years, has to go to Jan Vertonghen. I'm picking Jan Vertonghen as my centre-back pairing to Vincent Kompany. And they got that Belgian link up, so they know what they're doing. And I just think that because he didn't Jan Vertonghen come through the Spurs academy?
No, he came from Ajax.
Oh, he came from Ajax.
He joined 2012 actually.
Okay.
But he's played a lot of years.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like 7, 8 years. And like I said, like it's only like the last 12, 18 months, you could say, he's been wavering, but he's seen of a lot of competition at Spurs. A lot of competition. A lot of players have come and he's always there or thereabouts in the first team. And for me, he's been a top class centre back. So much so that every year, the guy's talked about or linked with big clubs, moving away from Spurs and joining big club because he's a top quality centre back. Okay. And I think those extra 3 years or so edge it over Rio or Vidic.
Ramon, the deciding factor could be you, but if you choose another one, we'll have to put it out to the viewers.
I respect your choices. I'm not gonna lie to you. I respect your choices. but for me,
he's scoring David Luiz.
Oh God!
I'm not going David Luiz, but you're not far off. And I'll tell you what. This defender for me has been in the Premier League for the whole time, and for me has shown a level of consistency throughout many changes in this squad, and that man is Gary Cahill.
What? Wait, what?
Bear with me. And I know again, this is a man not spoken about by many. And,
for a reason.
But let me land. Started off this decade in the first 3 years at Bolton, and I think in his second to last season to his third season where he was linked for Chelsea, he was brilliant for Bolton. I think he was Bolton Player of the Year or whatever. He was putting in top level performances, and then obviously made the big money move to Chelsea. And I think it was a January. I'm sure it was a January signing. He came in, and again at the time, with John Terry at the helm, and it looked like it could have been a decision that could have gone either way for him, but he held his own throughout his time at Chelsea. I feel like throughout that era, where sort of John Terry was declining, and people thought that when John Terry goes, that was going to be it for the Chelsea defense, and then he came in with Conte's team, and then won the Premier League again. And I think so he must have won 3 Premier Leagues with Chelsea, being that he won 3 Premier Leagues in the past 10 years. Is that right?
I want to say 2. One under Jose and one under Conte.
Oh yeah, no, two. Yeah, 2. Oh, Champions League, and then two Premier Leagues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that transition was a bit mad for Chelsea, and I think he was the one at a stand for throughout the 10 years. Bayern is last year, and he's obviously now rejuvenated at Palace. Some are saying he should have even got a bigger move than Palace in the summer. But I think, he's been consistent, and I think he's been at the top level as well. So it's not like he's been bad. He's been at the top level in the Premier League. I think Vidic holds his own in that as well. For me it was between the 3 of them actually. I had Vertonghen, Vidic, and Cahill. I don't know if I'd put Rio in there. I think Vidic had 1 year off. This is what put me off. He had 1 year where he was like injured. He only played like 6 games in the Premier League.
Okay.
So that made me say that he really had sort of like 4 years. And I feel like Cahill in the 5 years that he was at the top of his game for Chelsea, plus his like last 2 years for Bolton, I think was very, very good and can hold his own in there. So I think he's being overlooked because he's never been the best centre back in, maybe never been the best centre back in the Premier League. But I think he's been sick over that time and helped Chelsea transition to where they are now, isn't it?
Well, we'll put it out on Twitter. We'll do a poll. I can guarantee Gary Cahill is not going to win it. But you never know. You never know.
Chelsea fans and Bolton fans, and Palace fans, back me, man.
Hey, you might drum up some support over there. But we'll put it out to the viewers, and whoever wins that, hopefully there's a clear winner. They will slot into our team next. Big Vince. Going into midfield. So we've got 3 midfield. We're gonna start with defensive midfielder. Again, I'm hoping that's a clean sweep.
It is.
In
Defensive people.
Scott McTominay.
Sorry?
Scott McTominay.
Who?
Is it broken?
No.
Is it broken?
Huh? Wait. Did he play? What decade did he play in?
I don't even know who he's talking about.
I don't know.
In all seriousness, N'Golo Kante. Now, I know people will say,
he's not a DM.
yeah, he's not a DM. He's a this, he's a that. He's an all-round box. I don't know where to go with this. And I'm not saying he's nothing, and because nobody is. And I am still saying he's an anchor man. That's a specific role within the defensive midfield position. But the man's a defensive midfielder. His job is to run and tackle and give it off to the more creative players. If that's not defensive, then I don't know what it is. When we're comparing the likes of Idrissa Gueye in DD, we're always talking about how much tackles they make compared to Kante. Now, if he's not a defensive midfielder, why are we comparing tackles? We don't talk about how many tackles De Bruyne's making or David Silva. The man's a defensive midfielder. If you want to put him in a 2, so you got 2 deep, that's cool. You want to put him as a 1, that's cool. If you want to put him further up, that's also cool. But it doesn't take away from what he is, is it?
Yeah.
To me, he's a defensive midfielder, and I would have him in that position for me.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I mean, he's in everyone's team, isn't he? I mean, he literally has been the best defensive midfielder, holding midfielder, defensive central midfielder, whatever you want to register, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. He's been the best at it in this decade. I mean, for me personally, the only other person that could rival him is Nemanja Matic, but not good enough to take his spot.
I think Fernandinho has a case.
Yeah, I think Fernandinho definitely has a case.
I have Fernandinho as a case, but again, I mean, since he came to the Premier League, he's probably been there 4 years, 5 years.
Who's that?
Huh?
Fernandinho.
No, Kante.
Oh, Kante. He joined 2015. Yes, about five years.
Yeah, so I think he's done his time. And again, he came into a lesser side, with no expectation to do anything, and clean the league up in that position in a 2 with Drinkwater. Mad. For that alone, you should get in the team. For that alone, you clean the league up with Drinkwater next to you, and you won the Premier League, and then you stepped up to Chelsea and done it there. So, yeah, man, there's no doubt for me. Yeah, Matic has been sick as well, but I think he should have just left the Premier League, and I maybe give him more proper spot.
Who, Matic?
Matic, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't have to remember how trash he's been for the past year. So yeah, Kante for me, man.
Cool. 2 central midfielders. Ramon, who you going? Your 2 central midfielders.
Well, you want both of them?
Yeah. Give me both.
I can't give you both right now. I'm still debating the other one. I'll give you one.
Give me one.
My one has to be Yaya Toure for me. Again, I think it's hard for us sometimes to think back for the past 10 years because we're living in right now and what he's right now. But I think what he done to Man City was a madness. When he came in again in this year of like Man City's greatest ever year we've ever seen them. He's been at the soul of it. For me, just his all round ball game has been world class for me. And yeah, arguably one of the best centre mids we've had in the Premier League in the past 10 years, even though there's been bare 6 centre mids. And his role is different. Again, he can do the clean up thing. He can bang it from 30 yards. He can run into the box. I think his game is so all round. And I think Fernandinho kind of helped his game up when he came as well. Just to not have to do that because I think that's where he struggled a bit at Barca. And not being able to do that. So when Fernandinho came, it just helped his game grow. But yeah, man, for me, it has to be Yaya as one of them.
Carl?
I had that. And you know what? It's because there's been so many quality central midfielders in the last decade. It is actually very difficult to pick. Well, 2. Because obviously we've got Kante, we've got 2 central midfielders. So it is actually very difficult. And I can't knock a man that, that actually names a quality midfielder and puts in a solid argument for them. But for me, one central midfielder absolutely has to be in there. It's one that's probably top 3 greatest Premier League players of all time, and that's David Silva. For me, David Silva has to go in as one of the central midfielders. And yeah, we talk about world-class level, but for me, David Silva has been elite. He's been above world class. He's been elite for a number of years for Manchester City.
Okay.
And
world class. We say Messi, Ronaldo level.
Then Messi, Ronaldo. I'm telling you, the guy has been exceptional. And who I chose to go alongside him, I mean, it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah,
He came to the Premier League, left in 2011. Dabbled overseas for a couple of years, came back in 2014. My boy Cesc Fabregas. He has to be in there. I mean, so many assists, so many top plays. I mean, I don't know how anyone can overlook Fabregas. He was actually very, very good in that Chelsea team when he came back to the Premier League. He only left Barcelona because he was never guaranteed first team. It wasn't because he wasn't good enough.
No, I mean, he wasn't good enough for first team.
Because they had Xavi and Iniesta, mate.
I'm not just saying he said he wasn't good enough. It was literally because he wasn't good enough.
Oh no, no, you know what I mean. It's not like he was rubbish. Like he wasn't crap.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, for them because they had players like Iniesta, Busquets, and Xavi. So. He came back to the Premier League.
That's why you're wearing your Barcelona shirt, so you can beat up Fabregas.
So he came back to the Premier League, did his thing, won the Premier League, almost broke the assist record, and he's been one of the Premier League legends of this decade. And for me, he slots in alongside his Spanish midfield maestro David Silva.
Let's double check. How long did Fabregas actually play in the Premier League in this decade? How many seasons?
Well, he left Arsenal in 2011.
So yeah,
so
he had 10-11 season.
Yeah.
And then he came back. Oh, he only left Chelsea this summer, wasn't it?
This summer, yeah.
Was it this summer?
No, before that. He was at Monaco last year.
No,
left in January. Did he leave in January?
January.
Yeah.
Okay. So he played 5 full seasons. Five full seasons. 4 at Chelsea and 1 at Arsenal in this decade. Cool. Not bad.
2 at Arsenal in the 2010.
Yeah, it's 9, isn't it? So 6. Okay, fair enough.
I think with Cesc Fabregas, sorry, Neeks, I know you got 2 years, but I think with Cesc Fabregas, I don't think his last couple years at Chelsea, I don't think we saw the best Cesc Fabregas. I think his first 2 years at Chelsea, he was sick. and then for me, kind of tailed off. His last year at Arsenal was sick as well, but over the course of the 10 years, for me, I don't think I'd have him in my team. Not over Yaya Toure, if that's what you're presenting with me. He's probably Arsenal's best centre mid over the past 10 years. I'll tell you that for a fact. But but the Premier League, yeah, not for me, man.
Okay.
Arsenal best centre mid is definitely Santi Cazorla, man.
Wait, so Ramon, who are you going as your second?
All right, my second. I'm. All right, hear me out. I'm torn, but David Silva we spoke about with Carl, and I agree with everything he said. And he's like literally my one that I'm edging towards. But I think we've got to put a bit of respect. And again, a name I haven't heard around. And I feel like, I don't know why I'm saying these names, but
Oh my God.
we've got to give props to Dele Alli. No, we do. No.
What?
You do.
What?
You have to give props to Dele Alli. And I know he's not a CM, and I know he's number 10, and I know he won't make the team. But for me, in the past 5 years that he's come into the Premier League, coming from MK Dons into where he is now, he's probably, as a number 10, he's probably been the best. Like,
Ramon.
No.
It's David Silva. Compare them season by season. Every year that Dele Alli has been in the Premier League. Be sensible now, man. Come on.
I think Dele Alli's been so sick in the Premier League. I think
he's not better than Silva, even as a 10. But please carry on.
That's I'm torn. I'm torn because I think he's had a bad last year, and I think people have been getting onto him. But for me, he's up there. But I'm going to edge for Silva. Shout out Dele Alli, innit?
Wait, so you've got Yaya.
I've got Yaya
Silva. You've got Silva and Ness.
And Fabregas.
So if I went for Ness and Yaya, you would be on a stalemate.
What did you say?
I went for Ness and Yaya. A three-way tie. I'm gonna go with Yaya. I think for me, he has to be in there. Like that, just that one season at 2014. No, 2014. Yeah, it was 2014 where Liverpool nearly won the league, and that was the year when he got like 20 goals, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. The guy could do everything because, especially under Mancini in that 2012 season. Sure, it was under Mancini. He used to play in the 2 with Nigel de Jong, I believe it was. And every time they needed a goal, like late on, they would move him into the number 10 position, right behind whoever is Aguero or Dzeko, Negredo. I can't remember who their strikers were all the time. And they put him right behind there, and man, just get those late goals. He scored 3 kicks. He scored that wonderful goal against Stoke in the FA Cup. Like, the guy, as a central midfielder, he was complete. He had pace, he had power, he had technique, either foot. He could shoot, he could pass, he could head. The guy was immense. So for me, has to be Yaya Toure has to be in there. And yeah, David Silva, as everyone said, clean sweep as far as that I'm concerned. I think again over that the last 10 years, up until now. Like, yes, he's not having his best season, but he's having a damn good better season than a lot of other central midfielders. And many other teams would die for a player of David Silva's quality in this day and age. He, for me, not only goes down as, arguably the best, I say, yeah, arguably, if not definitely the best central midfielder in the last 10 years. One of the greatest Premier League midfielders in the history of the Premier League since 1992. That's without a shadow of a doubt as I'm concerned. So he has to be in it for me. So by virtue of majority, we've got Kante, Yaya Toure, and David Silva in the middle. Now, it's gonna get interesting. I feel it's gonna get interesting.
Look at ridiculous.
But I'm hoping we can agree at least on one thing.
I don't know if he will.
I feel like if not him, then who is my argument. If not him, then who? So left wing, Eden Hazard. I can't think of another left winger who has been as effective, as impressive, as clutch, and as outstanding, really, for his team in the last 10 years. Come to Chelsea, I think it was 2012. Left last year. Oh, sorry, left in the summer, just gone. He's got multiple 10-plus goal seasons. At least one player of the year, maybe even two. He may have a young player of the year in there as well. He's definitely been the catalyst to his team winning, again, at least one Premier League title, his first one under Jose Mourinho. And for me, he was Chelsea's best player in Conte's title winning season. I think it was N'Golo Kante, who actually got the player of the year. But for me, Hazard, I think he's unrivaled in that attacking left wing position.
I don't know about unrivaled, I don't know about unrivaled. There's definitely some rivals out there for him. I think Sanchez is one of them. I mean, he was apart from his last 6 months at Arsenal, he was pretty immense for Arsenal. Albeit, I know he did play up front for some of his time for Arsenal, but
his best season for Arsenal up front.
He was more than capable and quite complete as a left winger. But I have to agree with you that Sanchez probably pips anyone else that challenges. Hazard probably pips anyone else in that position, challenging for left wing. So I would probably go for Hazard as well, which it kind of sucks because if it was me, I know we're playing a normal standard 4-3-3. I would go 4-3-3 with literally 3 strikers. That's me personally. I would go with 3 out-and-out strikers.
If you want to put a striker out there, feel free. I'm not going to stop you. I'm still picking Hazard.
Wait, actually, let me check something real quick because you know what?
Throw a bummer out like every Arsenal manager sees.
No way. I want to see something real quick. I want to see how long my man's been playing in the Premier League. See if he's Sadio Mane.
No, allow it, man.
No, I'm joking. That's what I'm saying. And I can't just pick a striker and throw him out there left wing because I want to get these strikers. I'm gonna try and stick to the formation and stick to the positions that these players played in. So I'm gonna be sensible because if it was me personally, just do my own team, my own thing, I'd literally pick 3 strikers like Robin van Persie, Aguero, whatever, and just stick them all out there.
No, there's no rules.
Do what you want, man.
Bro, Van Persie don't play left wing. It doesn't make any sense. There's no point me.
But you're doing your team.
No, I'm gonna pick Hazard.
Hazard's your boy. I'm sure you've been raving about Hazard for years. Like, I mean,
yeah, he let me down, bro.
Yeah, but
Let me down, bro. Let me down, bro. He let me down.
How can you not want to play a system that accommodates him? I don't understand that. The man's born in the Premier League.
Yes, but he's had so many inconsistent seasons, man.
So many?
What?
2, maybe? 1? I can think of the top of my head.
Definitely 2.
No, he's had one horrendous season by his standard.
By any standard, to be fair, right? I think like 1 Premier League goal, maybe got 2 at the end.
Well, not by a Wobie standard.
Good deep.
Is it anyone?
Who's your left winger, man?
It's got to be Hazard, man. As I said, basically as per above, really everything that you said makes sense. And again, like Gary Cahill, brilliant in both eras of Jose Mourinho and Conte, which is why I think Cahill should be in there. But from the attacking side, From the attacking side, I think again he's gone through the errors, and I think he's he came to Chelsea. Did he come? He came just after they won Champions League, innit?
Yeah, 2012.
Yeah. Sad he didn't win one there, but he won the Europa League twice. Like, yeah. And yeah, man, he's been Chelsea's best player throughout the past 10 years, and it's been an honor for us to witness his greatness in the Premier League. It's a shame he got fat and went Real.
All right, so you got Hazard.
Where do you go next?
Where do you want to go next? Right wing?
Let's go right wing.
All right, go there, bro.
Okay. Okay, so I think, like Hazard, as a right winger in the Premier League, in the past 10 years, there's no doubt. For me. And I think for you guys, I hope you guys agree, there's no doubt that Gareth Bale has to be there. Gareth Bale, I don't know if you guys remember, for the first, I think he was in Premier League for 4 years of this decade, the first 4 years of this decade, or 3.5 maybe. He has been world class. The levels that he's been producing. I think his last year at Spurs was obviously his best, and which got him the multi-million-pound deal with the biggest club in the world football. But I think his time in the Premier League, he was doing an absolute madness. He was moving rage on the right wing, and I think there will be some definite candidates for people that have been doing it, especially in the past couple years, to that level. But I think for this decade especially was when he went rogue. Like this is when he went mad and said, I want to go to Real Madrid and I'm going to do absolute madness. And he ripped up the Premier League, won PFA Player of the Year, deservedly so. And yeah, did he win 2? I think he won it.
I don't know if he won 2. No, I think Van Persie won it. The first, so 2012, and I think he won it 2013. Yeah,
he's won it 2011 and 2013. 11 and 13.
2011.
Yeah, won it 11 and 13. I think
based on his run against Michael or something like. What?
Based on his ability, man, his ability. But this is the thing in the Premier League, he would just bang it from 30 yards, and it's getting top bins every time. And people were like, "Well, when did this?" But I think, especially coming from a left back, people not knowing that he wasn't really going to be about this, and then all of a sudden, it was literally as if when the decade starts, he just went mad. Like having that played him wide, and yeah, he done it into Michael, and he was just bagging him left, right, and centre. And since from then on in the Premier League, he's been sick. So for me, it's a tough one again because over the course of the decade, I don't know if there's been another Hazard like stands out across the 10. But yeah, I'm going for Bell. Good luck.
Kaya.
Okay, now I heard everything Ramon said, and I agreed with 0% of it.
What? 0%.
No, I tell you why. Like for me, like I think it kind of like because he was at Spurs for a while. Like he was there from 2007, but he left in 2013. So as far as the decade's concerned, he played such a small part of the decade, and just for that reason alone, I can't put him in my team. Like it's the same with Virgil van Dijk. Like if we're basing it off this like past 2-3 seasons, everyone would have him in, but no one puts him in because it's such a small part of the decade.
People put him in. Gary Neville, is it Gary Neville or Jimmy Carragher? One of them two put him in.
Yeah, the man are deluded, The man are deluded still, and that's what it is for me. It's like Bale didn't play enough of the decade for me to be like, yeah. Because when you're talking about team of the decade, like you gotta have at least like a solid 5 years under your belt to say, yeah, you were one of the best players in the Premier League over the last 10 years. Like to play 3 seasons out of 10 seasons. It's like, we really like, what are you basing it off of? Performances? Because then people will say, okay, then if you're basing it off of performances, then you would throw in Suarez over Aguero, but Aguero's been in the Premier League the whole decade, and he's got performances and numbers and stats to his side. So
we ain't got there yet, innit? Someone might throw in Suarez or Aguero, but
no, I hear what you say. So with that being said, the person I'm going to go with has played in the Premier League since 2012. Is playing in there right now, and isn't really mentioned that much. You know, I looked into him properly and I realized he's actually done very well, and he's actually been consistent for at least the last 5 years, and is still improving, still getting better. So much so that he's picked up the title Prince, and for me, has been a magnificent right winger. And for me, Prince Raheem Sterling has to go in at right wing. He has to. He's been at Liverpool since 2012. And that year, when Suarez was doing a madness at Liverpool, Sterling was there helping him, doing his bit as well. Sterling was doing his bit. And ever since going to Man City in 2015, he's only gotten better, and he's getting better and better, and probably is still improving. So much so that some people last year said that he's as good as Neymar. Some people said he's as good as Neymar. So that only tells you how well he's doing.
Can I meet some people, please?
Hmm?
I would like to meet some people and have a word with them.
I'm only saying, telling me what they're saying, innit? So I'm saying that he's as good as Neymar. So for him to build that kind of repertoire and people, you know, to recognize Raheem as that kind of talent, he's come on leaps and bounds, and he's been a very good player from the beginning. But he's a world-class player right now. And for me, he's gonna have if he stays at Man City, he will have that longevity, and he will probably last for the next decade as well, at least 5 years into the next decade. So for me, Prince Raheem is my choice at right wing.
It's such a tough one. It's such a tough one that I because it's so tough. I say because it's too. There's so many forwards to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
As I didn't have a forward. I was a diamond, and I didn't have a wingers. I had a diamond with Hazard at the top of the diamond, and I had 2 strikers. And one of those strikers, I won't name the other one just yet. One of those was Robin van Persie, because he was amazing. He was amazing. Just those 2 years specifically, the Golden Boot winning year at Arsenal, and then his first season at Man United. If you just look at that alone, for me, it's worthy of mention. Outside of that, he was still scoring many goals, but I can't play him on the right wing, and you know we've unfortunately agreed on a 4-3-3. Now it's so tough. Gareth Bale, I understand. Like, as long as Sterling has been here, he still hasn't had a season like Gareth Bale. And I'm not talking statistics. Statistics is one thing, but the way Gareth Bale was literally dragging Spurs, like, by himself at times. I remember that game against West Ham. I'm sure it was at Upton Park. And I can't remember exactly how the score pattern went, but it was 2-2. And he got fouled, but they didn't give the foul, and he got himself up. And he was about 30 yards out and picked up the ball and smashed it. I don't know if it was in the top corner, but it was definitely like high into the net, but maybe above the keeper. It was late in the game, and like that was like the crowning moment of best player of the league that season. And those kind of moments were often, as a matter of fact, that season. Sterling's had his moments, you know, those last-minute goals against Bournemouth, against Southampton, and just crucial goals throughout, or goals throughout. I haven't, measured the actual cruciality of them, where the first goal, last goal, that kind of stuff, winners. But when you compare the team that he was playing in and the team that Bale was playing in, it's chalk and cheese. Additionally, there's been players like Sanchez. But his argument, or the argument against him, will probably be similar to that of Gareth Bale, though not identical in the sense that his peak was only about 3-4 seasons. Then he tailed off at Manchester United dramatically. You mentioned Sadio Mane for the left wing, but he's actually a shout. It's like if you're talking about right wingers, remember when he came to Liverpool, he was on the right wing. Granted, his best season last year was actually from the left, but before Salah came, he was playing on the right wing, and he was doing all right. He was doing good. He's got, I think, double figure goals in five consecutive seasons. He's on for six. This season he's on 9 at the moment, so it'll be 6 years in a row that he's got 10 plus goals in the Premier League. It's really a tough one. I'm stumped. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually stumped. So I'm actually gonna put it to the viewers. So I'm not gonna pick Bale. I'm not gonna pick Sterling. I'm gonna purposefully pick someone else to allow it to go to the viewers because I actually can't choose. So the person I'm gonna go with. It's a tough one. I actually don't know. I don't know. Because you look at Sanchez, his best year was actually as a like through the middle. And then Mane, his best year is from the left.
Just pick Jesus Navas and be done.
You know what? I'm gonna go Mohamed Salah. Now, I think what I would say for him compared to someone like Mane, he's come in, he's gone straight onto the right hand side, moved obviously Mane out to the left hand side, and he had the greatest goal scoring season in Premier League history in a 38 game season. 32 goals from the left wing, 22 goals last season, and what's he on this year? 9 from 15. Now I know he started the decade very, very poor. Like he was at Chelsea and couldn't get a kick. But with all the people we mentioned, Gareth Bale 3 years, you know. Mane really peaked at Liverpool from the left. Sterling again, yes, he did well at Liverpool. Then he dropped. His last year at Liverpool 4. His first year at City was 4. And now he's come to under Pep, he's been moved in different positions as well, and he's banged. But I'm gonna go with Mohamed Salah. I think he is someone who is underrated, remarkably so, based on what he's actually done. He's underrated. He's not given, for me, the credit he's actually deserved in that respect. You got Egyptian fans who was rating forever, and a section of Liverpool fans, or maybe it's 50-50, where some might be popularity. They'll just say they'll speak ill of him for whatever reason, maybe to boost Mane or Firmino over him. But for me, I think he's actually underrated. So I'm going to go with Salah, and we're going to leave it up to the viewers to decide who it should be. So that's between Sterling, Bale, and Mohamed Salah for the right wing position. Striker, I'll go. And as I said, I had 2 up front. One was Van Persie.
And that other was Zlatan. I hear that.
Unfortunately, I can't put him in because he started the year banging, and then under Moyes, Man United dipped, and then he left. But there is one guy, I think he joined in 2011, and to this day, he's been banging. He's had his injury issues, but he's been banging. And that man is none other than Kun Sergio Aguero. And he's my striker of the decade. Ramon.
Tough one for me. And for me, the hardest decision I've had to make over the course of this the show, because I think there's 2 world-class strikers that meet the crown. There's probably even 3, But for me, there's two main ones that meet the crown, and that has got to be Sergio Aguero and the talisman himself, Harry Kane. Harry Kane has been, from when he came to the Premier League, burst onto the scene. In what 2014, I think it was. Really, 2014, he kind of came into the Premier League from like bare loan spells, and it's probably maybe a personal one for me because I see him and I think, wow, my man's not going to master anything. One season wonder. I'm honest. I call it how I see it, and I didn't think he was going to make it. I didn't think he was going to make it. 5 years later, my man is the captain of his country. He's the talisman for his club. Still banging at the moment. Consistently been banging since that year. 20 plus goals. Even hit a 30-goal season. I think it goes under the radar when he banged 30 goals because now Mo Salah has gone and done 32. So it's like, oh, Kane ain't it's not bad. But 30 Premier League goals itself is absolute madness, and I think that doesn't have that shouldn't go on the radar. And again, for everything that you said about Sergio Aguero, is the reason why it's mad tight. And again, someone who consistently bangs 20 Premier League goals, and I think again, people don't talk about it enough. But 20 Premier League goals isn't the norm. People don't normally get 20 Premier League goals. Shout out Terry. But Sergio Aguero does, and he has been doing it consistently. So for me to just scrap him out is harsh, but I've got to go with my gut. And again, this is due to probably me first seeing him on the scene and not rating him as a player, and then him proving me wrong and becoming world class striker, not just in the Premier League but in the world. I'm going to go with Harry Kane.
Kyle?
I'm not going to lie. I didn't see that one coming.
Down to you.
But it looks like Ramon is definitely being England biased here. Gary Cahill, Dele Alli, Harry Kane. What's going on here, Ramon?
Well, we're in England, mate. We're in England. This is their Premier League.
That have the most foreign players than any other league, and you're naming English players. Come on.
It's time to bring back the roots of England into the Premier League. Right?
Brexit means Brexit.
Brexit 11.
Listen.
You like Danny Rose as well.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Walker. It's mad.
Ramon, it's not England team of the decade. It's the Premier League. Just putting it out there. Nah, listen, this is the one reason I'm wearing my kit today. Right, but listen.
Messi.
Let me tell you.
Since when did he reach?
Oh God, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing?
No, hear me. No, hear me. No, stop. And hear me.
Stop.
Hear me. No.
Don't even start.
Listen.
Tuning in. That is our Premier League.
No, listen. Ramon was just talking about world-class strikers, and he can, that can take this title as the striker for Premier League striker of the decade, because we only got one striker. We're playing 4-3-3, and for me personally, there's 4 players in the mix. There's Sergio Aguero. There's Harry Kane. Harry Kane is only in the mix because Ramon said him. If Ramon didn't say him, Harry Kane ain't in the mix.
Really?
What? Are you mad?
Yeah. No, because of the quality he's up against. Like, if you have 5 players fighting for one position, then that means that the 5 players weren't good enough. They're not that good. You have to be of a certain standard, high standard. And for me, Harry Kane ain't at that high standard. Not on the same level as Van Persie and Sergio Aguero. Like,
Van Persie in this decade.
Well, he played to 2015.
You think Van Persie's had a bet? All right, go on.
He played what for 5 or 6 years? He played for six seasons in this decade, and he was world class in at least 5 of them. So
he was world class in maybe 2. Max.
Nah.
World class. You just say world class.
2 max.
World class.
Minimum.
World class.
2 minimum. His last at Arsenal and his first at Man United minimum. Continue.
Yeah. So And for me, Van Persie is never going to get in over Sergio Aguero because Aguero just eclipses what Van Persie has done because of his longevity and that consistency, and his longevity. And it's this whole thing of me including Luis Suarez. It's kind of like the same thing with Ramon and me with this Raheem Sterling and Gareth Bale. Whereas Gareth Bale had such a short spell in the Premier League, and Raheem's got like this longevity. And Neeks was saying that Raheem Sterling ain't had a season like how Gareth Bale had, and Gareth Bale was immense, and he absolutely dragged Spurs through. It was the same for Suarez. Suarez had a season.
Keep the same energy then, because you told me the time that Bell had is not long enough. Suarez had the exact same amount of time that Bell had in the Premier League.
No, he didn't. He had more time.
3.5 years. They both had 3.5 years in the Premier League.
No, Suarez had more.
No, wait. I think Bell had more. Bell's been there for a while, but he had. Oh, you mean it's in the decade?
In the decade, yeah.
Yeah, in the decade.
Well, how long did Suarez have?
Suarez came in 2010 and he left in 2014. But
yes,
he came
in the
January. Did he come in January?
He came in the January, so it was.
Yeah, so he's had 3.5 seasons.
So you had 3.5 seasons.
Same as Bell.
No, Suarez came in 2011.
Yeah, and he left in 2014. He had 3.5 seasons.
Same energy, bro.
But anyway, please continue because it's your striker.
Yes, and Suarez, Aguero is yet to have a season like how Luis Suarez had a season. He's had a moment, or he's had moments, like for example, the Aguero. But he hasn't.
You will never see anything like this again.
He hasn't had a season like Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez was literally scoring goals from the halfway line, running through 6 man, and scoring 4 goals in one game. Like he was literally tearing up. He was literally tearing up the Premier League left, right, and centre, and he could not be stopped. Literally, he could not be stopped, and he did that for pretty much the majority of his Liverpool career. And if it were not for the Giants crying him away, he'd be here right now, and we could potentially be looking at the all-time Premier League top goal scorer.
I mean, he would have been at Arsenal playing under Mikel Arteta, but go on.
Nope, no, that's never going to happen. That never
Oh, we talking about Wenger still be here, bro.
40 plus 1.
So for me, the quality of Luis Suarez in his time at Liverpool, I'm going to put him as my striker in team of the decade. And that's what I'm saying. He would have been in my 3 strikers. It would have been him and 2 other strikers. But because there's only 1 spot for striker, I'm picking Luis Suarez.
God damn.
So we got another 3-way tie. Goes Aguero, me, the only right answer. Harry Kane, Brexit FC. And flip-flop, Suarez. Keep the same energy, hashtag. Again, we have to put that to the viewers, the poll on Neeks Sports. By the time this video is up and done, all those 3 polls will be voted for. So you'll see those 3 positions slot in: centre back, right wing, and striker. I mean, guys, if we had gone with my diamond formation, we wouldn't be in the situation. We would have had a full team. Well, minus Gary Kane. We had a full team. But we don't. We have 8 out of the 11. So we run through it. David De Gea in goal, Kyle Walker at right back, Aspilicueta left back, Vincent Kompany +1 from the viewers at centre back, N'Golo Kante DM, Yaya Toure and David Silva in the central midfield. Eden Hazard on the left, right wing, one of Sterling, Salah, and Gareth Bale as voted by the viewers. and up front, one of Sergio Aguero, Luis Suarez, and Harry Kane, as voted for by you, the viewers. Guys, that is the Neeks Sports team of the decade. It has been a great decade of Premier League football. Another decade goes by without Liverpool winning the Premier League. I've lived through it again. I will see you in the next decade. We will see you in the next decade. The Neeks Sports podcast will be back in January, so stay tuned for that and all our videos between now and the end of the year. Ramon, Carl, it's been good. Happy festivities, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, and a happy New Year.
For the next 10 years.